deep in and just kind of, you know, exploring this world, this country by yourself. Like, it's giving iconic. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Banks and I'm back with another video. As always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so you can be notified whenever I post a video. So this week I'm going to be doing a 6-month update on my move to Chicago. If you guys have been following me on my journey so far, you know that I moved to Chicago 6 months ago. I posted a video about it. You know, for new opportunities, new discoveries, new adventures, new experiences. And I'm ready to share a little bit of, you know, how things have been going so far. So let's get into it. So I asked on my Instagram story if there's anything that you guys wanted to know about my move. And you guys answered. Have a lot of good questions. Let's start with the first one. Okay, so is it lit? Is Chicago lit? Honestly, I would say because I moved here like right at the beginning of winter, and you know I didn't really have that many friends. I haven't really experienced the litness. I'm not gonna say that Chicago isn't lit because I don't think that's true in any sense of the word. I just feel like I haven't gotten out to experience things yet. But summertime is on its way, and I know sometimes it's going to be so lit. Like, I'm so excited. From what I've seen, just like following like promoters and just you know, seeing other people out in Chicago and stuff, I know that Chicago is lit. I just haven't, you know, gone out to experience it myself. So in short, I find out. We gotta find out. We gotta find out because you know I'm gonna find out one way or another. You know. But from what I've experienced so far, I have been having a good time, and I think that if you go out with the right people, you know, it's going to be great. It's going to be lit. Another question was, how's the nightlife? This kind of goes back into, is it lit? One thing that really stands out to me about Chicago nightlife and just Chicago in general is that Chicago is a very segregated city. Like, people in the different ethnic groups are located in specific parts of the city. So, like, you know, you'll find more black people on the south side. You'll find more white people on the north side. Like Hispanic community, the Hispanic community will be like in certain areas, and then you have like I think like other ethnic groups. I'm not too sure of, but those are like the main three that I see a lot when I'm out in Chicago, and they're very like, you'll be at a club or you'll be at a bar, and you'll see that. Like, I was just at Emporium the other night, and it was just like there was a black DJ playing black music. So all the black people were on this side with the DJ, all the white people were on the other side, like talking. So it's like if you just look around, you'll see that people tend to stay with their ethnic group. That also goes into like going into the like a nightclub. It's like you got to know which day to go, because it's like Fridays they might have urban nights, so that's when the black people are gonna go, and that's when they're playing hip hop and rap and the stuff that you might be used to listening to when you go out in the club. Maybe you'll go on like a Saturday and they'll be playing like Hispanic music and Spanish music and stuff like that. Or you'll go and they'll be playing EDM. So it's not like New York or Toronto and everybody is just kind of listening to everything and it's like a melting pot type thing. It's very stark difference. Like, this is my night, this is your night. Not that I really felt that in terms of like racially, like any type of like racism or anything like that, but it's just very much so like I'm probably not gonna go to the club to listen to EDM. You know, and there might be some people of other ethnic groups that don't want to go to the club and just listen to hip hop all night. So, you know, you got to find your way. You got to find, I mean, at the end of the day, it's what you're comfortable listening to and who, you know, whatever you're comfortable doing. But if you get the gist of what I'm saying, it's very segregated, and you got to kind of get in where you fit in, what I've seen so far. Another question was, how is it living in a big city and tips on being safe while living alone? I am from Rochester, New York. It's not a big city at all. I went to school in D.C. Not a huge city, but it's more city-like than Rochester. So Chicago has been the biggest city that I've really lived in so far, for real. Compared to living at home, like, living at home in Rochester, everything is like 15 minutes away. If it's more than 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that's unheard of. Like, I might as well be traveling to another continent if I'm driving 30 minutes at home. Here, it's just like, oh, okay, it's a 40-minute drive, 50-minute drive. You know, I'm just going to hop in the car and go. Like, I drive like 40 minutes to stuff that I want to go to, 50 minutes if it's an hour. Like, I'll be like, you know what, it's just an hour, let's go. So that's one of the main differences that I've noticed so far, in terms of just like, people being more, having more experiences, meeting different types of people. That is something that also comes with living in a bigger city. Public transportation being more like easily accessible. I personally haven't used public transportation because I have a car, but those are just some things that come with like living in a bigger city. Obviously having more things to do. Living at home, there's more stores, more things to do, more things to get into. Like if I want to like go shopping, I can just go downtown and I have a lot of things at my disposal. Whereas living in Rochester, I have to like order online a lot. I still order online now because it's just easier, but like if I am in a time crunch, I can always run downtown. I can always run to the suburbs. I can run to Oakbrook. I can run to Old Orchard. I think that's what it's called. Like I have a lot of places where I could just go and find some clothes on the quick. In terms of like activities, like I can go to an escape room, I can go to a VR experience, I can find a nice bar, I can find an arcade, I can find like just a lot of different things to get into, rather than living in a smaller city where it's just kind of like, for instance, like we just got a Chick-fil-A in Rochester like a couple years ago, but also it is kind of hard for me to be like compare like living in a big city to living in a small city, because I spent a lot of time in DC while I was at school. So in terms of like comparing it to like DC, it kind of just feels like the same, I'm having the same experience in terms of like accessibility. Although in DC I wasn't really doing as much as I'm doing now because I was in school focusing on that and kind of like in my little academic bubble or whatever. Whereas now I'm trying to go out and experience things and, get to know people and being safe and living alone. I don't know if you guys have seen those TikToks with like door stoppers people use in hotels, but I have like door stoppers that I put on my door. So like even if somebody was to have the key, and it's happened multiple times, somebody has the key and they go to open the door, they can't open the door. They can't get in unless I take the door stopper off. That's something. Get a Ring camera so you can watch. If somebody's at your door, you don't know who it is, you can literally see who it is. Somebody knocking on my door, even if I know who it is, I don't say nothing until I go to the keyhole and I look and I see who it is, because you ain't finna know I'm in here if I don't want you to. I'll be real quiet, I'll be sneaking over to the little hole like, who is it? Oh, alright, okay, I'm about to let you in. Like, I don't play no games. I don't even care if I know that you're coming over or if you literally just told me you was coming up the steps. I'll be right in that keyhole like, who is it? I do not play about my safety. Like, I'm just, be very vigilant, be very like, always just being aware, make sure nobody's like following you home, make sure don't be telling people where you live. Don't tell people that you live alone. That's another thing, because people will automatically, like the wrong people automatically make you a target because like, oh, she lives alone. Especially don't tell anybody that you're in the city by yourself. I mean, I'm not, but like, don't be like, oh yeah, I moved here, I don't know nobody, because they be like, oh yeah, wait, that's an easy target right there. Putting a little target on your back. So just be very careful, be like with your choice of words, and still have fun, still enjoy life, but just know that there's some wicked people in this world and they will take advantage of you if they can. So just keep your guard up, and I keep keep some mace, some bear spray, something that's legal. I don't know if you can get you a gun license, I don't know, but do something where you can protect yourself if you need to, because it's a wicked world we live in. It's an evil world we live in. I was also asked, how does it compare to other places that I've lived? Like I was saying, with Rochester, it's much bigger. It's like a breath of fresh air of just being exposed to different things and having access to a lot of different things. And like, I can just get into so much more and type stuff you're probably not going to get in Rochester for like a couple of months, maybe a year or so. In terms of living in DC, what I did like about DC was that it was very like Black. Like, you're able to go and be in all different types of spaces, whether it's artsy, whether it's just like hip hop, I don't know, like different types of people, but you'll find Black people in all different types of, whether it's a bougie type of night or it's a ratchet type of night, like you can find Black people in all different types of spaces. Whereas I feel like here in Chicago, it's like if you want to go for maybe a more bougie vibe, it's not going to be as many Black people. You might be one of the few Black people in the restaurant or in the area. What I've seen so far is that you're not going to be able to find an abundance of Black people in all different spaces. Like, of course there's going to be upscale Black owned restaurants or upscale stuff like that, but it's like I'm not going to go somewhere and just be surrounded by Black people. Whereas in DC, I could go somewhere, I could go to different types of places. I could, as a matter of type of scene I'm trying to get into, I can find somewhere where I can be surrounded by black people. And it's not quite like that in Chicago, like I said, because it's so segregated and just, you know, getting into all that, you know, ingrained racism and all that type of stuff. You know, it really affects the way things have played out in modern day, and it's still very, very visible in, you know, everything that you do. Someone asked my favorite food place so far. Okay, so I recently went to this place called Federales with some friends that I met out here, and I've been addicted to their shrimp tacos ever since. But that's really the only thing that I like from there, but I love their shrimp tacos, so I'm going to say Federales for shrimp tacos. And I recently started eating this place called Dai's Asian Kitchen, I want to say, and it's like Chinese food, but it's not just Chinese food. It's other types of Asian food. I don't know exactly, but it's not just Chinese food. But it's so good, so good. They're orange shrimp and they're sesame shrimp, and it's so good. They're lo mein with the thinner noodles, so they have a thick noodle lo mein and a thin noodle lo mein. The thin noodle lo mein, the thin shrimp lo mein is so good. So I recommend Dai's Asian Kitchen and Federales for the shrimp tacos. I haven't found any other place yet that I really love. Oh, also, but this is out in Joliet. I don't know if anybody's going that far, but Joliet taco truck, their shrimp tacos are literally the best shrimp tacos, like authentic shrimp tacos. I feel like Federales is really good for like the not so authentic, maybe Americanized. They add in some different stuff into it that if you actually go to like Mexico, you're not gonna find that. And then I feel like Joliet's taco truck is very like authentic and so good. Like that's actually like a real taco. So those are my 3 favorite food places so far. But I really need to be put on to good food in Chicago, because when I was visiting before I moved out here, I'm like, Chicago's food is nasty. Like, y'all keep saying it's the best, they have the best food in the world, and I haven't tasted it yet. And my mind is kind of changing because I had some good places, but I need y'all to put me on because I've been ordering a lot of food and it's not been a lot of good. It's been horrible. This one was a really good question. What have you learned since moving? What's the best things that's happened since? What have I learned since moving? I feel like if you're going to move somewhere where you don't know a lot of people, you're going to have to be really comfortable with being by yourself. And I wouldn't say that was something I wasn't comfortable with, because I kind of am always been like to myself. I've had the same like core group of friends since I was in 8th grade, and it's like them, or like I found it hard to like make friends and just be social. So I've kind of just been to myself. I like my alone time. Like I like really, you know, being by myself. But what I haven't really done is like go places by myself, and that is something that I feel like if you're gonna move to a new city and like not really know anybody, you're going to have to be comfortable with going places by yourself, or you're going to be stuck in the house and you're going to be bored because you're like, oh, I don't have anybody to go here with me. I want to do this. Nobody wants to come. I don't have anybody to come. So you really have to be comfortable with going out by yourself, or learning to, or be open to going out by yourself, trying new things by yourself, being your own best friend, because I know that I'm lit. So I would love to have a friend like me, and I do have a friend in me. So I know going anywhere with myself is going to be lit. Like, I know I'm going to have a good time. I just have to find things that are good solo dates. So that's one thing I've learned, is to be comfortable being by yourself, because you will, you know, you might have times where you're by yourself until you really get your footing and start to meet people. Especially if you're like me, where you work remotely. So like I don't have a job that I can go to and like meet friends and network and socialize. So, you know, it's been, you know, kind of tough, but it's been refreshing because I'm just learning so much about myself. And then my favorite what was it? What's the best things that's happened since? Okay, so my birthday was in January. You guys saw my birthday vlog, and my best friends from home came, and then I had my new friends meet my best friends, and everybody got together and just had a good time, and it just made my heart so warm, because I was like, wow, like all my friends are getting along, like it's just great. It was just effortless, like it was so cool, and that just really made me so happy. It made me feel really like confident about my moves, because it's just like, on the one hand, I feel like my group of friends who will travel the distance for me, and then it was like I met some new friends that I just felt like so comfortable with, and then everybody got along with each other. I just feel like this is like exactly where everybody is supposed to be right now. So has been my favorite experience so far, because I'm just like, it just gave me like a reminder of like you're on the right path, and you know you're aligning yourself with the people that you should be aligning yourself with. One, I'm about to move and need some advice on making friends. I know 0 people there. Honestly, I'm still learning as I go. A lot of, if you saw in my birthday vlog, like a lot of those people I kind of met like in the club. Like I was out one night at this place called Mansion on Rush. I had met like hella girls, and they were just all really sweet, nice girls. And I'm just like, hey, I'm having my birthday, like, you know, come through. And they end up, you know, coming through, and we all had a good time and stuff like that. I feel lucky because that night I met like 2 girls that I feel like I really clicked with, and you know, so far things have been really, really good. And I just feel like, you know, it's not often that you meet people that you feel like are actually like good people. You know, sometimes you meet people, like I've had this happen in college, like you meet people, you'll be friends with them, but it's like, if you really look at it, like this is not, you're quick to call somebody your friend until you really see something happen, and then you're like, okay, I don't know if I really like this person. But you know, with them, things feel authentic, things feel, you know, true, right? And it's just like, you know, they feel all Gucci, they feel real good. And I just feel lucky because, you know, it happened shortly after I moved here, and you know, it just has made it easier. I have had some people to actually go out with, people to invite me out, and you know, it's just been really good. So I'm really excited about that. And I just feel like making new friends, you just have to, if you're, like I said earlier, if you don't have a job where you can network and socialize, you just have to go out. Like, so many times I'll go out and I'll just be like dancing or just chilling, you know, just being the vibe that I am. Okay? No, I'm just playing. But you just be chilling, just having a good time. And if you're just open, like your heart is just open to just being a good vibe, and you're a good vibe, you will attract people. And people are like, oh, hey, like, da-da-da, I love this, I love that. Like, I love your dress, da-da-da. You're like, okay, what's your Instagram? And then you're like, okay, how about we just go out for happy hour, or let's just go out to lunch, or let's just, you know, let's just do this, and let's just go out to eat or something like that, and get to know people. And you vet people out, like, okay, maybe this is somebody I just hang out with in the club, maybe this is somebody that I want to, you know, come over and watch movies with, maybe it's somebody I could just go to yoga with. Like, you know, you just be open to meeting new people, actually take the time to foster those connections, and be like, okay, actually let's plan a date. And that's not say, hey, let's just go out. No, actually, let's go out next week, or what you doing Saturday. And not being afraid to put yourself out there, because I know that like you can be kind of hesitant to put yourself out there, because people can be so shady, people could just have bad intentions, or people would like start feeling themselves and think that you a fan because you're like, no, I want to try, you know, to be your friend or establish a connection, and people might take that to their head. But it's just like, the right ones will be there for you, and the wrong ones, they gonna be dismissed. And another thing for making friends is, I think you really have to put yourself in different spaces outside of just like the club and stuff like that. Like, go to different events that maybe the city is having. Like, you know, like I said, be comfortable going by yourself. Maybe like just festivals, or I don't know, like just like today I'm going to go to this art gallery at this bar called 16th Street Bar and Coffee Lounge. And although I am going with somebody, I feel like that's a good place to just go by yourself. Like, go look at some art, strike up some conversation, get some Instagram, get some numbers, you know, connect with people. Just put yourself in different spaces, and just be, like I said, open to new connections, and the right people will find you. And then lastly, someone asked if I would stay in Chicago long term. I moved to Chicago, I never felt like it was going to be long term. I feel like I was going to at least give it 2 years. I feel like a year is not good enough time to really get a feel of somewhere. I'm really thinking 2 to 3 years. I'm definitely going to stay here after this lease is up. I'm going to move out of this apartment specifically, but I'm going to stay in Chicago. But I don't think that I would like live here for the rest of my life. Who knows, I could leave and come back, but I definitely have other places I want to live, like LA, New York, out of the country. You know, the possibilities are endless, and I could end up back in Chicago. I think it's a beautiful city, but like I said, the whole gated segregation type, and just not being as like multicultural, well, not being as much of a melting pot as I would like, or, you know, not being able to just see myself in a bunch of different spaces that I would like to be in. That is something that does kind of bother me. But for right now, I am here for a good time, not a long time. And I'm just really excited for what Chicago is to bring. I just know that I know it's such a beautiful city, and I feel like there's so much to get into that I just cannot wait. Like, I'm just so excited. So right now I'm just really looking for a lot of things to do that I by myself, just things to get into, and just really turn up this summer, because the winter was rough. The winter was rough, and I feel like a bear about to break out the cage and just really be at full force. But I hope you guys enjoyed my 6-month update. I don't know if I was all over the place, because I just really started to get into it. Like, I really felt that. And thank you all for all of your questions. They really helped me with my video. I hope that you guys learned something. I can provide some insight for anybody else moving to a new city. And if you have recently moved to a new city in the last 6 months, a year, or whatever, like, just, share your experience with me, because it's really a unique experience, and it is a very valuable experience. Like, it's not a lot of things like it. Just really jumping off the deep end and just kind of, exploring this world, this country by yourself. Like, it's giving iconic. You know what I'm saying? But as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch y'all in the next video.